Well, hello, do I have any blueberry in my teeth? I hope not, because I've been eating lots of blueberries. So today is all about blueberries again, which it has been. I was able to pick some delicious fresh blueberries close by at Blueberry Bottom Farm. They're organic. They are so much care that goes into raising these. Now, I get questions all over the place, from things that seem really difficult to some, easy to others, and I want to cover them all because it's all important. There is no question that it's too easy or too difficult. It's all relevant. So today is all about freezing blueberries. How do you freeze blueberries? Because the thing is, let's say you, like me, happen to find a great place to pick some fresh blueberries, or you have a farmer's market who has so many delicious ones and you want them, and then you have too many, or you want to save some for later on for your smoothies or baked goods, whatever they are. How do you freeze them? So there's lots of methods. Mine's pretty simple, and this is what honestly I do for most fruit: strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, whatever it is. I have washed and dried blueberries. So first, I obviously wash them. They are organically grown, and I was able to pick them, which makes you feel like so much better. But I did rinse them well, kind of, agitate the water, dry, and then let them sit out and just dry. So they were dry because you don't want to freeze them when they have droplets of water all over them, because guess what? That's gonna freeze on them. And water right on a fruit is kind of the enemy, because it can cause then freezer burn. You get the crystallization on it. You don't want any of that. So instead, when I have them washed, dried, I have a sheet pan and I have it ready to go. What I do is I put out an even layer. Now guys, this is grandma's method. Yep, you know me, love my grandma, both of them. My one is still here and I'm so lucky. This is my one that is gone. This is her method, and this is what mom still does too with most fruits, is you spread them out into an even layer on a pan. So as you're going, you may see something you missed when you were cleaning them. It's a good time to watch. Now, when you see these, I talked about this on when I went to go pick them. I did a video on it. When you pick a blueberry that is unripe, guess what? It does not ripen. You want your blueberries to be ripe when you're picking them, because unlike some other things, they don't ripen off the bush. So, you know what we do with those though? We eat them. So you put them on an even layer, because you don't really want them to stick together if they do have any moisture, or just as they freeze, they sometimes can. Then what I do is, I know guys, write this down because it could be a hard one. I stick it in the freezer. Now, instead of just throwing them in a bag, which you can do with blueberries, but this is more of a definitive way, depending how you want to store them afterwards, to make sure they're well frozen before you put them in. So I'm going to freeze them at this point. We're gonna pop them in the freezer, so it can be overnight, 4 to 6 hours usually, but I do it sometimes the day before. And then we're gonna store them and talk about some storing importance. So cleaned, dried, put them in even layer, or put them in the freezer. So obviously they need to freeze solid. So whether it's overnight, I do mine overnight usually, but usually probably around 6 hours, and they're gonna freeze too. Then you just need to package them up. Now, some people love a system that's gonna suck the air out, make it airtight. That's okay. I try to reduce all of my one-time plastic uses. So I like to just use airtight containers that you can put leftovers in. So like those glass containers, yes, you can put glass in the freezer if it's tempered and made for it, which you can always check on what you buy, but usually anything anymore is. So I like to use those because they have a seal on them and it makes them airtight. You can also use, Ziploc baggies, things like that. But I like to also, when I freeze them, know how many I'm freezing. So I use a measuring cup, and usually your containers are gonna be a cup size too, but I put them in so I know the increments I'm doing. That way, if let's say you're gonna bake with them, well, right here is 2 cups, which is wonderful, because then when you say want to make muffins or a blueberry bread, you can pull it out. And then I go one step further. If you're like me, I have a big freezer because I live in the country and I preserve a lot. So I need to label things. And so on it, I put the date, and then I put 2 cups, just so I remember. So when I want to pull this out and use it, I know that it is 2 cups. The reason airtight is important, the seal to me is important, because guess what? Air is your enemy when it comes to the freezer. When things have in contact with air, they're more prone to freezer burn. They can dry out in a freezer. That's why you want to make sure they're airtight, because the freezer slowly sucks any life out of whatever gets put in there. So you want to make sure that they actually have an airtight seal, so that won't happen. Now, usually when I do something in the freezer, I think I have about 1 year, and I like to use it up within that year. And that goes for most anything. And I mean, I push it. Like, I'm talking baked goods. I think if you wrap them well, keep them in airtight, they can last for a year. And don't at me on that, because I think that's totally true. So I love to do different increments. Some of them are a cup. So this could be for a smoothie. This could be just for eating, whatever it is, on your oatmeal, in your cereal. But the thing is, when you have something that is in season, when you have something that's available to you, maybe it's grown locally, maybe it's just more fresh, more ripe, and you want a way to use it, this is the case. And what's wonderful is these also make great jam after they're frozen, so there's always something to use them for. I mean, if you can't find a use for delicious blueberries from the freezer, I don't know. So I'm gonna finish packing these up, but what do I want you to do? I want you to share this video around. It helps me, but it also helps so many people see how easy and doable these things are. You don't have to go to tons of work. If you have tons of blueberries, put them in the freezer. Enjoy them however you want to. That's the beauty of it. Share it around. Check my website, wiseguy.com, for tips, for tricks, for recipes on blueberries, for more info, whatever you need, because I put it all on there. You can print things off. You can use it. So check it out. And until next time, do something wonderful. Whether it's saving some blueberries, helping yourself, nourishing yourself, it's always a good thing, because the world is better when we take care of ourselves and we're happier. So I'm gonna keep doing this. I hope you do the same.